we're going to talk about in a little bit, but it just literally gives you more color and more, you can see it really right there, more petals than any other hydrangea. These are new this week and we've already had almost 2,000 orders placed. They're full and robust and they come home to you for a $5 easy pay. This beautiful, I mean, look at this color. This is the only color, right?
Yes, correct. This is it. This double ruby. It's, I mean, if you're the kind of person who likes to match your lipstick to your plants, like sometimes I do.
This is a good one.
This, I know, I call this a lipstick hydrangea because I love this color so much. This is something that, you know, hydrangeas, they come in those nice pastel colors. Sometimes they're, you know, a lighter purple, lighter pinks, lighter blues, which I love. Those are very classic colors. But if you're looking for that pop, that wow, that big show-stopping. You know, hydrangeas are already a show-stopping plant because of their big blooms. This is going to add some even more pizzazz because of its color.
These are my favorite plants.
Hydrangeas, I know,
just because
so many people.
Just in the one blossom, I mean, if you clip one of these to bring inside, sometimes you only need one in one of those little low,
like a bud vase.
Yeah, bud vases, and you put it in a powder room or in a guest room. You take one of these off, you're not missing it. Look how much you get in one, and it's like a little bouquet already made for you.
Yeah, and like you said, this will bloom so robustly. We even have some buds on this hydrangea. So this is a late spring, early summer bloomer, and it does bloom on both old and new wood. And you don't really need to know what that means, but all that you really need to know is that means it will bloom all summer long, all the way into fall, which, you know, that's not a typical hydrangea. Some hydrangeas only bloom on new wood, so they're going to be blooming later in the season. So this is going to be a longer bloom time for you, and that means you're going to have color before other people might in your neighborhood.
Not that we want to be that way or anyway, but it is kind of nice to have the garden that everybody talks about, looks at.
Yeah, and we all wait for spring. We keep doing the countdowns to spring. We all look so forward to summer, and we love to be outside and enjoy being outside. And why not add that color and that dimension and that texture to your garden, because you're out there anyway. You're enjoying it. You want to be outside. Oh, I cannot wait to get outside.
I know, me too.
Especially with our little kids.
And doesn't it feel so good when you're outside and you just have that visual, you know, and talking about kids or having grandkids, you're giving them a memory, you know, just by sight and and the smells, certainly. I mean, this one doesn't necessarily have a scent.
Not this one.
But when you do, we have lavender coming up. That's a good one for the scent. But, you know, when you're creating memories and it's just, there's nothing like it. Especially if you want your kids or your grandkids to be like, oh, I remember going to grandma's house and she always had those pretty, they don't know what it's called, but those pretty, those big, you know, flowers that were always around the pool or around the deck. And it just feels good and it looks good. And for really a low investment to get such a presence.
Yes.
Tell us about the double hydrangea.
Right. So when you see double in flowers, typically what that is referring to is the petal count. And so on one flower head, each petal has double the blooms. And so it actually looks like, I mean, here in this representation, it's very accurate. You can barely see the foliage. The flowers are so big and so robust, they cover this whole plant. So the green is almost like it's a backdrop to this plant, which with some hydrangeas, it's a sparse flower, and it's, you know, it's both the foliage and the flower that add a lot to it, but not here. You are getting such full coverage of flowers and in that bright ruby color, and so that double petal really helps the flowers give off that bright color.
It's amazing just how big one is. Look at that.
Yeah. Oh, and so they will grow to be about 4 feet tall, 4 feet wide. And so they are a nice, I would call that actually a compact hydrangea. Some other hydrangeas we offer get to be 10 feet tall, 9 feet tall. So this one would actually work great in containers.
Is that just one plant right there?
That's one plant.
Look at that.
Yeah. So you can see here, I mean, you can put them in a container, which some other hydrangeas you can't. You can put it in the landscape. I like to have multiples of them if you're going to have them in the landscape, particularly maybe as a hedge. If you are putting them in your garden bed, put them towards the back, because it will be one of the taller plants in your garden bed. But here I have what is coming home to you. This is a nice big 5.5-inch pot. You can see how many leaves are on it already. It is ready to go, ready to grow, and this will be your second season of growth here. that you see on the stage, but this is going to be a nice plant that you will get flowers on this year.
And when do the flowers come in once you plant?
Hydrangeas are early summer because this blooms on both old and new wood. So some of your hydrangeas will be midsummer, but this will be one of your early bloomers. So you are going to get flowers early summer here. But the great thing about hydrangeas is they'll bloom all the way through to a frost, clear to a frost. And then if you've seen them or if you've grown them, they turn that like parchment-y color. And I love cutting them and bringing them in the garden at that time too.
Yeah.
I've even known people to spray paint them at that stage, and you decorate, you know, put them in wreaths for the holidays. Yeah, so there's so many things that can be done with hydrangeas. I mean, they just look great in the garden alone by themselves, but there's so many uses for decor and decorating inside as well.
So these will get to you right at the right time. Or is anyone getting these yet?
I think we've had zones open. So in the south, some of our warmer zones have opened.
All right, so just, I mean, depending on where you live, the higher up you go, the further out it will be. But if you didn't think that you could have certain plants and flowers in a cold climate, you can.
Yeah, this is a hardy hydrangea too. So some hydrangeas don't grow in colder climates. So this will work for you up in the north. And just check out that ball. I mean, this is called a mop head hydrangea. As you can see, I would have probably given a mop. Maybe is not the thing I think of when I think of gardening, but you think of that shape, that round ball shape. And that's what this hydrangea grows in. And you can see this.
Look how pretty.
This plant is completely
I love it
covered.
Against stone like that. It makes me think of a castle or something.
It does. I mean, these have that elegant, classic feel, that maybe that New England, that like Cape Cod-y feel. They're just, hydrangeas are America's favorite flower, your favorite flower.
Yep.
They're popular. You can't go wrong, especially with the double ruby. I mean, the color is just absolutely stunning in the garden, and it will not fade in the sun. This is something that will hold its color. And you and I were also talking about color changing hydrangeas. This is not one of those. It will not be affected by color changing soil, but hydrangeas do like an acid soil, so we do have a special fertilizer for that. It's a bud and flower booster, but the one for acid loving plants.
Okay, so that's a different one than we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, a lot of our other plants just take our regular bud and flower booster, but make sure if you are getting the hydrangea, they are hungry plants, so they do like to be fed.
That one is M10831 if you'd like to add that to your order. Once you place your order for the hydrangea, we do recommend getting that booster just to help it be the best it can be.
Yes. Absolutely. I mean, you give yourself